Hi guys, so this is my review on The Shattering by Karen Healey. This was sent to me by Alan and Unwin. And I requested this title because I had read and enjoyed Karen Healey's first book, which was Guardian of the Dead, and I thought it was really cool. So yeah, I made sure to get this one sent, and also I'd sent Karen an email complimenting Guardian of the Dead and linking her to my review on it, and she made note of the fact that I said I really liked the protagonist in that book, and I loved her attitude and her feistiness and the fact that she was quite an angry person and let it show. And Karen said that I would probably really appreciate the protagonist of this book in that case, and I did. That was great. And anyway, this is sort of a supernatural mystery, I would probably call it, if I could give it subgenre. And it features these three kids here. This is our protagonist proper, Carrie, and her mates Jana and Sion, whose name I have butchered, I apologise, and they are on the hunt to discover answers behind a mystery that has seen over the past 10 years the eldest brother of families committing suicide for no apparent reason, completely out of the blue, with having shown no signs of depression, that kind of thing. And it's affected all their families in turn. And they're discovering that there's a heck of a lot of coincidences in this, and that it could be a pattern of some larger framework. And possibly these suicides are in fact murders. And so they're trying to get to the bottom of that before another suicide occurs. And so they're kind of racing against the clock to find out what's going on. And it sounds really, I don't know, trite or just completely stupid when you word it that way, but it was really cool, and I think it was very nicely handled, and the tension was there, and I honestly had no idea what was going on for a long time, so it kept me guessing. And we have kind of a trio narration thing going on, so it alternates between these three characters. Carrie, she has first-person point of view narration, and the other two still have third persons. And Carrie's story kind of bookends the novel, so I'd still give her the title of being the protagonist. But we spend time with all of them, and their voices are all really, really distinct. Carrie is quite an angry girl. She's got a really sharp, sarcastic wit about her, but it's not off-putting in any way. And I suppose we kind of get to see her interior workings quite early on, so maybe that's why I wasn't judging too quickly. Often when characters are written for me and they're meant to be sassy or kind of, snarky, it just comes off as really, really irritating and cruel and completely unlikable and unattractive, and I don't want to spend time with them at all. But I really liked Carrie as a character, and I felt for her very strongly. She loses her brother at the beginning of the book, and that haunts her throughout. And yeah, she makes some revelations towards the end, and has a few confessions that were really, really moving for me to read. Yeah, I really cared about her, and I liked Jana and Sion as well. And I just thought their relationships were very believable, I think, and their interactions were really, really genuine and seemingly true to life. And because they are very distinct personalities, getting to witness them and how they worked together, it just felt really credible to me, because you wouldn't expect these three people to work easily together, and they didn't necessarily, which was good. And yeah, there's lots of supporting characters. That was one gripe, that there were quite a few supporting characters who ended up having a larger role to play, but they were never introduced early enough, I felt, to have any resonance with me, or I didn't feel the weight of their role in the larger scheme of things, because we hadn't really known who they were early on, so they kind of just came in at the end and was like, oh, you've been doing this, and like, yeah, but who are you? I can't remember who you are. Yeah, so the supporting characters and where they were placed and how their role progressed was a bit iffy for me. But the writing in terms of these three was really continuous and constant, and delivered really well, I think. And the setting was great, the fact that it is in New Zealand, and we get just that landscape in general and the atmosphere of this small coastal town of Somerton on the South Island, and it's just really beautiful, and that's somewhere nice to spend your time while you're reading. It also, like Guardian of the Dead, it incorporates a lot of the cultural landscape, I guess, of New Zealand, this mishmash of cultures. So we have Maori terms and traditions listed in here, also some Samoan stuff, because Sion is Samoan. So in the back there's a little glossary for the terms, and so, you know, you get to learn things while you're reading, and I really appreciate that, the fact that Karen Healey doesn't just think, I'm going to write this Caucasian novel, and that all my characters will be white, Anglo-Saxon people. I appreciate that she keeps it real, considering it is in New Zealand, and that's a credible thing to do. Yeah, and I also really appreciate the originality of the mythology that she lends her books. I mean, you can still, like, Guardian of the Dead, you could still label as being fae, but it wasn't really. It was certainly unlike anything I've encountered, and it didn't take the traditional legends and lore that we already know really well. It had its own, you know, its own slant on things, that's what I was trying to say. And the Shattering is very much the same. I guess if you could label it as anything, it has witchcraft in it, sorta. But again, it's something very different and unique and completely of its own within this context, so I thought it was really cool. It was just very refreshing. The books, Karen Healey's novels seem to just be a nice breath of fresh air in the YA market, so yeah, I really do recommend them. And there was also just the fact that the book does concern the theme of teenage suicide. Really hit home for me personally. And in the back, Karen has a little message in there and some numbers to call in Australia and New Zealand and stuff for dealing with depression and that kind of thing. So yeah, that really resonated with me, and I like that she didn't just put it in there as something offhand or like as a plot device and just leave it. That it was dealt with, but it wasn't too heavy-handed or anything. It didn't feel like it was getting shoved at you. So that was nice. Yeah, but I did very much enjoy the book, and I do really recommend that you pick up Karen Healey's novels, because it's just something different, something else, you know, something a tiny bit outside the box to enjoy. So I recommend them, and I recommend The Shattering. I give it 4 stars out of 5. It's by Karen Healey.